Welcome back, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Unexplained and Unsolved podcast. This episode will unfortunately not feature my great co-host Dakota, simply because he wasn't able to go watch the movie with me. Before I start this episode off, I just want to say please like and comment on this video because it lets us know how we are doing and is a big help to the channel. Also, I would like to say welcome to the new subs that have joined our community, and for the original subs, welcome back. If you're watching this episode and you aren't subscribed, please subscribe. We would love to have you in our little but growing family. We now have a total of 34 subscribers on YouTube and a total of 338 followers on TikTok, which is pretty insane to me because it just seems like we came a long way ever since we started this channel back like a few weeks ago. As a disclaimer, I just want to say this video may contain spoilers, so if you haven't seen it, go check it out. I went to go see it on Saturday, but I wanted to wait until at least maybe Tuesday because the movie came out last Friday to upload it because I didn't want to spoil the movie for anybody. It's a really great movie, so go check it out. So let's get into the video. The Black Phone is directed by Scott Derrickson, who also directed other horror films such as Sinister and The Exorcism of Emily Rose, which are two really good horror films in their own respects. Both movies are super creepy, so I was especially excited to be creeped out when I seen that he was the director of this film. The Black Phone is not just a horror movie, but it's almost a thriller with supernatural touches. And obviously the supernatural scenes are scary, but the movie really has you on edge whenever the antagonist is in the frame or whenever you know they can show up at any moment. The movie is set in a late 70s Colorado suburb where a small town is being terrorized by a mysterious kidnapping murderer the kids around town call the Grabber. The Grabber, played by Ethan Hawke, kidnaps and murders children, leaving no trace behind for the family. The start of the movie, and I would say probably the first 25% of the movie, is character building. We get to see our lead character, Finney, who is played by Mason Thames, pitch in a Little League baseball game against another kid named Bruce Yamada, who ends up being the first kid that we know of that is captured and killed. We then get to see Finney's sister, who is played by Madeline McGraw, and their father, played by Jeremy Davies. We get to see their family life, which by no means is good. The kids have to metaphorically walk on eggshells around their dad because he is an abusive alcoholic. Now, the two kids are great actors, especially when it comes to showing emotion, either when it's arguing with their father or fighting off bullies, which brings us to our next character, Robin, who is friends with Finney, and they have this mutual friendship. Robin is a fighter, and he protects Finney from his bullies, and Finney is more of a book smarts kid, so he helps Robin with his math homework, and I assume a bunch of other types of classwork around school. Robin is the next shown victim of the Grabber, which sucks because we don't really get to see Robin much after that for obvious reasons, and he was just an all-around cool character. Now, Finney's sister, Gwen, who is our other main character, has these premonitions of the kidnapped kids, and she tells kids around school about these visions that she has. She ends up telling Bruce Yamada's sister about these visions that she has, which leads to the next part of the film. The next part of the film starts off with her father abusing her because Gwen is drawing this unwanted attention towards them, and I feel like it's because he's an alcoholic who abuses his kids, so he doesn't want the police coming around and pretty much questioning him or anything because they might find out that he's an abusive parent, which is really unfortunate because Gwen has this gift of, like I said, of these premonitions of the abducted children. Now, let's jump ahead and say that Gwen and Finney's mom had visions as well. She also had these voices in her head that told her to take her own life. Their father tells Gwen that this is the reason why he's so hard on them and, I guess, abusive, because he doesn't want what happened to their mother to happen to Gwen. That's still no excuse to go and abuse your own kid, because there's really no excuse for that, and it's just an overall not cool thing to do. Now, the movie really starts to kick off whenever the third character, which is Finney, is shown being abducted. We get to see what the Grabber looks like. He uses this cover-up as a magician to attract the kids. So, like, the way that he ends up getting Finney is he asks him if he wants to see a magic trick. He then pulls Vinny when he gets close enough to him, sprays this stuff in his face, knocks him out, and uses to cover these black balloons to cover up the fact that he's abducting someone in broad daylight, quite literally, in the middle of these suburbs. So this totally disorientates Finney, and he wakes up in this basement that kind of gives me these Saw vibes. It's a dimly lit, dark and decrepit basement that just looks like it smells like mildew. He then tries to break out on several attempts with the help of the murdered victims of the Grabber. They contact him through this disconnected black phone. Some attempts are better than others, but all the attempts come together at the end. He has these attempts such as, there's this one kid named Griffin that something about this cord that he has hidden inside the wall. So Finney tries to use it to climb up out of the window. There's only one window inside the basement, but it's covered by this grate. So what Finney does is he puts the cord through the window, tries pulling himself up, but he actually ends up falling down and kind of hurting himself, and it makes a really big noise. So I was kind of surprised that the grabber didn't hear this. The other attempt is from Bruce Yamada, who is he's the first kid that was abducted and killed on camera. He tells Finney about this loose tile that's in the hallway of the basement that he can dig up and try to dig a hole up out of the basement through. He then gets another attempt that was given to him by this kid named Vance. He's this cool, kind of bullyish type of kid that tried breaking through the wall, but he was actually caught by the grabber, so he wasn't able to successfully break out. So there's this soft part in the wall that he tells Finney about, and Finney tries to do it, but there's this big standing up freezer that he just can't get through the door, so that ends up being a fail as well. Like I said, these attempts start to fail initially, but they all end up coming out at the end and helping out Finney against the grabber. I would like to say during these attempts, you kind of get what I like to call a I would do it better moment, where you're just kind of watching the movie and you see these attempts and you're just like, oh yeah, I would have definitely done that in a better way, or I would have gotten out, or just whenever you're watching a horror movie and there's a part where a kid or somebody tries to defend themselves against a killer and they don't end up doing it successfully, and so you're just like, oh yeah, that wouldn't be me, I would definitely not get killed. His sister then gets visions and alerts the cops about her brother missing, and this kind of plays throughout the entirety of the movie, and she gives the cops these clues that ends up pointing them in the right direction where Finney is located in. Also, another person that is aiding the cops is the grabber's brother. So he's this drug addict that is doing this research about the grabber, and he actually ends up alerting the cops and everything. They come to his house, but it turns out that everything was actually underneath his nose, quite literally. Like I said, he's a drug addict, and also Finney ends up living in the basement of the house that he is living in. The brother also played in the Sinister movies, and he was also the adult Eddie Kaspbrak in the It Chapter 2 movies, which I thought was pretty interesting because he was a pretty good actor in that movie, and he was also a pretty good actor in this movie. This then brings us to the climax of the movie. The grabber's brother ends up getting killed by the grabber himself, and then a fight ensues when he attacks Finney, and Finney gets him with these traps that he sets up in the basement, using the attempts that he's tried earlier, kind of like a Home Alone type beat. So the grabber chases Finney, and then Finney ends up tripping the grabber with this little makeshift tripwire that he used with the cord that the little paper boy told him about. The grabber then falls in the hole and snaps his ankle with the thing that was covering the window that Finney fell out of with. The other thing that I forgot to mention about the attempts is that Robin, the kid that was helping Finney with the bullies, ends up telling Finney to pack a bunch of dirt inside of the black phone. And so he ends up beating the grabber over the head with the phone while he's inside the hole. So like I said, he ends up using all these attempts towards the final fight in the movie against the grabber. The grabber then grabs Finney into the hole, and Finney actually ends up using the cord to choke out the grabber with. Another thing I would like to mention is that the grabber has this really unique mask type that I've never seen before in a horror movie. It's this interchangeable facial expression mask where he can either take off the face part, the mouth part, and then just keep the eye part in, and he can also take off the eye part and leave the mouth part in. The reason why this is unique is because it can really show the expression of the grabber and see what he's feeling. There's a frowny face one, there's a really kind of sinister smiling face one, and overall the mask is really creepy. Finney then uses the stakes that was inside of the because the grabber, when he came downstairs, he tied his dog up against the door so that way Finney couldn't try to run out. So Finney gives the stake to the dog so that way it distracts him and he can go up the stairs. That is pretty much the end of the movie. Finney then walks up out of the house, and the cops are actually at the wrong house across the street, so they were really going to be no help to Finney, so luckily he was actually able to defend himself against the grabber. The fight honestly could have been a little bit more, suspenseful and everything. There wasn't really too much to it. It was mainly just Finney really overcoming the grabber and just beating the crap out of him. There was no really twists and turns in the fight, which I kind of get it because it's the grabber was pretty much terrorizing Finney the entire movie, so this is kind of just his revenge against the grabber. So overall, I'd probably give the movie about a 9 out of 10. Just because I wish it was kind of a little bit more scary. There honestly wasn't any parts that I jumped at, and that's why at the beginning of the video I said it was more of a thriller. Let me know down in the comments what you thought about the movie if you've already gone and seen it, and if you haven't gone and seen it, go check it out. I think it was an overall, like I said, pretty good movie. So thanks again for watching the video. This was really just me explaining how I felt about the movie and also just kind of like an overview of the movie. I know it's a little different from the past 2 episodes that we've done, but I just kind of wanted to review it because I've seen that it's had a lot of positive feedback, and IGN actually also gave it a 9 out of 10. I haven't seen what the Rotten Tomato score on it was, but I assume it was also good. Let me know if you want to see more of these movie reviews and if you're interested in stuff like this. Like I said, I know it's a little different from our podcast where we talk about cryptids and everything, but I just figured that since it's horror related that it might be pretty interesting to people. So please leave a like and comment on the video. Let me know what you thought about it all. And yeah, pretty much just let me know if you want to see anything else like this in the future. I definitely like watching horror movies, so if you ever want to see my review or hear my review on anything, just let me know and I'll let you know down in the comments, or like I said, I'll just make more videos about it. Also, let me know what horror movies you guys are excited to see in the future. I'm anticipating the new Nope movie that's coming out by Jordan Peele, and I think it comes out around later July, but I'm pretty excited to see that movie because he's come out with a lot of really good movies. Also, another update about the channel, we should be uploading the 3rd installment of the Skinwalker series later this week. We have some really good stories that we're going to be reading in that episode, so I'm really excited about that. Once again, if you're watching this video and you aren't subscribed and you happen to like our content, go ahead and sub so you don't miss out on anything else. We post pretty consistently, so we're going to try to do like maybe 2 videos a week. So yeah, let me know down below if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next episode. Have a good night, everyone.